Second try I lost twice in a row, but on step one. Yeah, it's rough. It is rough, man. It is rough. I just attained my 6 out of 7 wins just now too. It was a really close match for us. We basically played around the same sort of list, like focus on Hecarim and a lot of the ethereal triggers and stuff. We really tempoed each other really well, and I think we ended the game with him at about 5 life, and I was at like 1 before the game was done. We were basically top decking the whole entire match, which was really insane. I wish yeah, you could probably take a look in the VOD, and it was really a close one. So you know what? I'm gonna make a overview explaining to new players or people who want to get into the game who are trying to figure out, you know what, the game seems to be very difficult and very hard to understand. It's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. I was able to understand it, and you know, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, you know. So hopefully this tip will be able to help you, or these few tips will be able to help you, guys. So I'll be making a small introduction video about how we're gonna go about this, and then hopefully it can help you guys in the future as well. So first, the most important thing to focus on is it is not focused on being pay to win. It is you know, your decks get as good as you get good in the game, and focus on attaining your quests, your daily wins, your daily boosts, and your weekly vault that unlocks every Tuesday. So next week Tuesday, this will be unlocking. So in the play area, you want to focus on building or playing a deck that you're consistently okay with. You get 3 free decks at the starting of the game. You get the one that's focused on Freljord with Tryndamere and Braum. You get one with Elise and Darius, and you get the other one that's with Jinx and some Ionian cards. Just pick any one of these 3. They're respectively okay decks if you're starting to get into the game. Don't be focused on playing ranked yet. If you're not prepared to play it, that's fine. But try to focus on just getting your experience, learning the game, learning the mechanics. If you get into tutorial mode at the starting of the game, finish a tutorial. It doesn't take you more than 15 minutes. It's relatively fast, relatively effective, getting some free, easy cards. And if you want to go into the store, there is a starter bundle that you can attain that has about 66 cards or so, and some wild cards that you can use to build some of your decks with, including some of the champions that you can lock too. And if you want to still be able to attain some more wild cards, there's the option of going into the cards location, of being able to buy the champion wild cards, epic, rare, and common respectively. And it's really easy. And then you can use actual currency in the game to buy coins that you can use to go into the expedition run. So you have player versus player, you have versus AI, maybe testing some decks that you probably have an idea on. You just kind of want to goldfish it a little bit, see if it works properly, and then you have the expedition. Expedition runs a really good way to learn some new decks, learn some new mechanics. Maybe you might find something you might be interested in. I recommend it. It's really good. And if you're really good at it, and really good at building decks, you get more prizes and you win more stuff for how many more runs you get. So if you get an average of like 3 or more wins, 3 to 4 wins, you actually make okay on it. If you get around 6 to 7 wins, you basically break even. So you basically win back the amount that you put in for the expedition. So you get around 1,300 to about 2K shards, which is really good. So hopefully this was a helpful tidbit for you guys to get into the game. Oh, one other thing as well. That with the reward system, there's a prologue missions that you need to complete first. Try to focus on finishing those first. Grind those out. I know it's a bit of a slog. You might lose a lot of games at first. But once you finish those, you get a lot of free stuff. You get to choose your region that you want to focus on, and then focus on the decks. And if you don't know what you want to build or what you want to focus on, go into your collection, go into your cards, click on the show not owned, and then focus on the region you want to focus on. Since I'm a player that I primarily play Ionia, and yeah, Noxus, Ionia, Piltover, Zon, and a bit of Shadow Isles. I don't play much of Demacia or Freljord. I'll probably focus more on these four locations. So we're gonna take a look. There's a whole lot of cards in here. It can be a bit overwhelming, so you can sort it out by champions. And then you pick the champions that you really like a lot, and you try to find out what works and what doesn't. If anything, you can go to YouTube and take a look and see what works there. So let's say, for example, you like Teemo a lot. You played a lot of League of Legends. You like playing Teemo a lot, but you don't know what works with him. Teemo is a spell-based character, spell-based type deck. So playing him something with Karma or Ezreal or with Freljord for like the frozen stuff, so you can keep your opponent off of being able to do damage to you, being able to clear the board, making sure that your team gets in for damage. Having him backed up with Ionia is a lot better because you get to deny your opponent being able to use removal spell on him, and also being able to recall him, play him again, and you can't basically protect the queen with Teemo. More or less, you can have a lot of situations that if Teemo gets out of hand, you can oftentimes have like almost 200 to 300 shrooms in your opponent's deck with an okay hand by about turn 5 or 6. That's really, really hard to deal with. And then basically you try to figure out everything for your own playstyle and your own taste. And with one of the viewers who were asking me, hey, is Fiora or Shen actually still pretty good? Yeah, Fiora literally has not changed from since her closed beta representation, and I think Shen is also still the same as well. So let's take a look at where Shen is. Yeah, give my support barrier. Yep. And support is the unit that's on the right of him that gets a barrier function, and with the challenger function that the challenger ability that Fiora has, she can choose whoever she attacks and fights with, which makes it a whole lot harder for your opponent to deal with. So, hopefully this, guys, was well enough for you to understand. Hopefully you were able to have a lot of... I hope this was informative enough for you guys. If there's any more questions, leave them down in the description below. Stay awesome, be awesome, guys, and have a wonderful